A California family says they are suing a local fair because they slaughtered their daughter's goat against her wishes. A 9-year-old girl had entered the goat she raised in a livestock auction, then changed her mind. According to the lawsuit, the family tried to back out of the auction before bidding started, but fair officials wouldn't allow it. The family then reportedly took the goat to a sanctuary and offered to cover the auction costs. But the suit claims days later, sheriff deputies illegally took the goat back and turned it over to be slaughtered. ABC's Brad Milkey, host of the Start Here podcast, joins me live now for more on this. Brad, what happened here?
This is a wild story, Diane. So this is in Shasta County, California, where this little girl, this 9-year-old, is part of the local 4-H program. 4-H, as you know, teaches, youngsters sort of the ropes of agriculture. And so she's in this program where she's raising a goat from a young age to adulthood, where then she takes it, it sort of culminates in the district fair, where you take it and it's auctioned off. You can see where this is going, to be slaughtered. And she has a breakdown, like a mental breakdown in the pen with the goat. The family says that she's there. She's holding the goat named Cedar, saying, please don't take Cedar away, which I think is probably common for a lot of young people, even in these programs, right? What's different here, though, is the family says, okay, you don't need to take, let's get out of this. Let's take the goat home.
Let's save Cedar.
Let's save Cedar. Like, it's not worth traumatizing our kid again. And so they say, we're going to take the goat home. They ask the fair, listen, if we cover the costs that the buyer paid, it's like $900, can we just take Cedar back? The county fair says, no, you can't, and you better not take Cedar anywhere. The family says, we're taking Cedar anyway. They spirit Cedar away. They escape Cedar out of the fairgrounds, and they reportedly take it to this animal sanctuary. That's where they say this goes from kind of sad to scary, because you got to understand that the district fair is run by the county. The county also runs the county sheriff's department. And so that's where sheriffs start getting involved and taking they start surveilling the house, according to affidavits, and they get a warrant to take Cedar away and eventually slaughter him.
Now, the family's now suing county and fair officials here. What's the legal argument?
So I think a lot of people can sort of see the argument from the fair's point of view, being like, you signed a contract, this is the deal. You got to stick with the contract. However, the lawyers that this family retains say, if you look at the details of this, this is essentially local government going rogue. This is local government taking matters and escalating them way beyond anything they ever should have been. For example, usually when you have a dispute with people, say they're arguing over cash, you don't just take the cash from one person and give it to the other. You stick it in the evidence locker for a while, while a judge or a jury decides who should actually get it. Cedar wasn't taken to some other sanctuary by these sheriffs. Cedar was given back to the county, back to the fair, where Cedar was slaughtered. You can't unslaughter this goat now. So that's one issue. But more fundamentally, this comes down to who actually has control of this contract here, because the little girl, the lawyers say, should be allowed to disaffirm a contract. This is a 9-year-old. In California law, they say you're allowed to get out of a contract if you don't feel comfortable, particularly if you're 9. They say it's important to understand this goat did not belong to 4-H and she was borrowing it. This did not belong to the county. She had the right to see Cedar as her pet. She said, this is my pet. I'm going to do what I want with him.
So what are county and the fair officials, how are they responding to this? What are they saying?
Really no comment from any of them. The county sheriffs got back to us and said they had no comment because of pending litigation. The county itself, which runs the fair, didn't get back to us at all after repeated requests for comments. And what the lawyers say here is this comes down to more than just contract law. They're actually filing this in federal court. They say this is really a free speech issue because it's about values at some point. The moment the little girl said, and the family said, these are not our values. Like, you're not going to tell us what to do with this thing. That's when they say the county took really aggressive measures, that this became about teaching a girl a lesson. Because I think we've been there before when, like, you have a kid in Little League and they say, I don't want to play anymore. And you got to honor your commitments. The moment this family
they wanted to teach her, this is how it works and you have to get used to it, it's not easy, etc.
I think it's easy to sympathize with that, being like, yeah, kids got to honor the commitments. But when we're talking about this goat and $900 that the family says they would have been happy to spend. And by the way, they said they contacted the buyer and the buyer was fine with them backing out of this. They say this is really the county going above and beyond.
Interesting. So before I let you go, I do want to ask you about one other story. You talked about the FBI issuing a warning about these public free charging stations where you plug in your phone and you get some juice. It happens at the airport, at hotels. We see these everywhere. Why are they saying these are dangerous now?
This blew up for some reason this week. It was because the FBI Denver field office put out a warning saying, "Hey, you know those?" And I got my charger right here that I use all the time. They say, you know those charging stations that you see at a hotel lobby or that you'll see at the airport or something, where lots of people can plug in at once. They say those are dangerous. You shouldn't be using them. And they say it's because of this scam known as juice jacking, where, I mean, take a look at these cords. So this is a one-way cord where it's just giving my phone power.
Right.
The moment you're using that USB cord, this is a two-way street. It can both provide power to your phone, but it can also download information. That's why it works with your computer when you're syncing your phone. Well, that means that if hackers have infected the machine, and they apparently have been known to do this, they could also be siphoning information off your phone, your passwords, your data, even just making a complete backup of your phone. However, what's important to know here, Diane, the FBI, local law enforcement, no one has ever actually given an example where this has worked out in the wild. It's something that can be done by hackers. We don't know how often it is actually being done.
So they're saying there's a risk of this happening, but have they provided any evidence of it actually happening?
They're saying this is like a vulnerable thing to do. Don't do it, please. And yet these things are all over the place, and we haven't actually seen any instances of this.
So what do you do then? Try to find the one outlet in the airport?
I've been wandering around with this all day, going like, what do I do? Do I plug this in? No, they say AC power outlets, when you're actually using the plug, these are fine. They say focus on that. Do not plug the USB cable into one of these communal stations.
Don't forget the extra little boxy thing on the end. Brad, thank you.
Thanks.
And you can hear Brad dive into more stories like these on Start Here. New episodes drop weekdays at 6 a.m. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.